Guess who's coming to America? You know, it's an interesting thing, the debate that's going on, and I guess I'm just an old American and have old American values. But let me ask you a question. Do you think most cities, if a Ku Klux Klan group wanted to open say, a meeting hall in one of their cities, would allow it? No, don't think so. Do you think if the Nazi Party wanted to open a meeting hall in one of their cities, the liberals would absolutely go apoplectic. They would go ballistic. And yet, Hillary says, the president says, that it's not us if we don't let these refugees in. It's not America. It's not who we are. Well, like I said, I guess I'm just an old American because I kind of thought those weren't our values. I didn't know we were for killing gays. I didn't know that we were for molesting children. Don't forget that the U.S. Army court-martialed a guy who slugged a Afghan officer after that officer was repeatedly told to quit molesting a young boy, a child. And he was court-martialed because, and this is important for you to understand, they said, our administration said, that's their culture. That's their culture. Do you understand? Honor killings, that's their culture. Stoning women, that's their culture. Mutilating women, that's their culture. Now, I don't know, but that's not me, and I'm an American. I'm a proud American. But that's not who I am, and I don't see any reason why we should have those people in this country when, first of all, they believe in slavery, wouldn't let the Ku Klux Klan open, and they, and don't take this the wrong way, but they only wanted to enslave blacks. The Muslims want to enslave everybody that disagrees with them, who doesn't believe what they believe. Somehow that's okay. And quite frankly, I think if you read the Constitution and you read the First Amendment, it's the only religion that I know of that should be outlawed by our Constitution. Because the Constitution simply says, it doesn't say there's a separation of church and state, by the way. You can't find that anywhere in the Constitution or the amendments. What it says is that no government or the government shall not establish, understand that word because lawyers don't, liberals don't, shall not establish a religion. Well, the Quran is all about that. That's what the religion is about, a theocracy where they are the only religion. They run the government, and anybody that disagrees with them is a slave or done away with. And that's our new moral code. Honor killings, gays and lesbians stoned to death. If you're a woman, you're degraded, you're not educated, you're a slave, basically. You're chattel. And that, according to the liberals and a lot of other people, is the new moral code for America. I don't understand it. I don't believe it. I don't want any part of it. But my government is going to make me a part of it. And it doesn't make any sense. The other question we ought to be asking ourselves, which nobody's asking the right questions. Nobody in this administration has asked the right questions. Also, people who don't believe in this administration are not asking the right questions. Otherwise, this guy would have been impeached a long time ago. But let me ask you a question. Does it make sense to you that we must take, to be morally correct, we must take tens of thousands of refugees from a Muslim country, a terrorist Muslim country, when many Arab countries where they would be comfortable, they would speak the language, the culture would be the same, refuse to take these same people? What kind of logic does that take? It makes no sense whatsoever. And I can't think of any reason why these people would want to come to this country when they don't speak the language. And when they get here, they're going to form their own little no-go groups, just like they have in every other country. And they're going to have their own laws. They won't practice the Constitution. They won't practice American laws. They're going to practice Sharia law in their communities. So they're not being Americanized. It's all part of the divide and conquer. But morally, I think we have a moral obligation, at least those of us that grew up in a country that was great, not one that's deteriorating, not one that's got a cancer that's metastasizing itself all over the country. But I think we have a moral obligation to say that's not who we are. We don't stone gays. We don't enslave people today, especially every single race that disagrees with you. I agree slavery was wrong. Ku Klux Klan was wrong. By the way, that's a democratic organization if you look the history of it up. But still, these people, you seem to be okay bringing them into this country. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I don't believe in it. And we certainly have no moral obligation. And it's not a matter of freedom of religion, because I'll give them the same freedom they give us. And that is, they don't believe in our religion and they want to force their religion on us. And if they come here, you're going to see it spread. It's already spreading. I don't know why. It is not I cannot possibly believe it is a religion of any reasonable God. I don't think there's any God out there in the universe or wherever he hides out that would believe in locking a man in a cage, throwing gas in the cage and burning him alive and cheering. Or as you saw the picture of the Belgium fella, the young guy, leaning out the window of a truck. And I think they explained that what he was doing was dragging bodies behind the truck until the skin was off of them. And he's happy about it. Did you ever ask yourself what kind of people it is? What kind of people are these? They don't seem to have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and they're doing horrendous things that should just absolutely destroy any moral person. But Americans, our soldiers come back and they're disturbed by what they see. Now, which group of people do you think we ought to side with? Which group of people would you want to belong to? Somebody that has absolutely no moral compass? Or a group that even though they go out and do the job for their country, they come back disturbed by what they did? That's a moral group of people. And we're fixing to infect this country. There's no other word for it. Infect this country, and there's absolutely no need to do it. There's other places that they can go where their culture would be understood, they would be understood, and they speak the language. And those countries are turning them down. So why is it our moral obligation to take in people who totally morally disagree with our moral code? I guess the code's changed. But I'm proud to be an old American, an American that was part of the great America, the America that had a moral code. But no longer. That's my opinion.